Thank you, everyone. What place comes to mind which has a hot, humid summer and a flashy rain season? Yes, that is exactly the place I grew up in eastern part of India. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to share some of the stories from my childhood, growing up in India, and how they imprinted on me as a person and my journey onwards. One of my first memories was playing in the veranda with toys, and I noticed they were used ones. And when I started noticing was when I went to my cousin's place where they had new and shiny toys. So I would wonder in myself like why I didn't have it. The concept of rich and poor was slightly developing in me, but not quite fully. And at that age, I just knew what was going on and nothing more. And then one of the days, I went about throwing a fit to get a tricycle, and my parents got me one. That was a used one as well. So, but it didn't rob me of any fun. My sister taught me a game called odd and even. So essentially, you have to distinguish a number which is odd or even, and then I was able to grasp the idea. I was 2.5 around that time, but I was able to quickly grasp it. But I also distinctly remember like writing the words B as in boy and D as in delta. I would like confuse between them sometimes. So some learning was easy, some learning was hard. I was only able to overcome it around age 6 or 7. Um, as family, we would watch TV just like others, and around that time, I saw commentary about Diego Maradona, and I saw him score a wonderful goal. And upon seeing that, I had to play soccer, and I grew amazing at it. You had to see me or see it to believe it. And then after that, that would keep away from my studies and like continuous studies and stuff, and that would distract me. So learning was an important part of our family culture because my mother grew in a family where the women were not allowed to study a lot or go beyond a certain stage. So she made sure that the kids didn't have to do house chores or any activities. And my sisters, in turn, returned by concentrating really hard. So as a child, it was easy for me to concentrate, but as I grew older, I had trouble concentrating because I was always distracted by TV or soccer. And during the summer, I will do both of them a lot. And during the rainy season, I would not be able to go outside, and the pitter patter of the rain was quite relaxing. During high school, the sheer fear of unemployment, which I understood at that time as a concept, I stuck in and developed interest in the subject matter. I started studying, and I saw my sister took in a course in engineering, and I read her books, and I started developing, and that finally gave me the impetus or idea that I need to go and follow her footsteps as well. Getting back and thinking of if I had the ability to teleport or go back in time, and I would be a teacher, as my father was one, and but he was a very able communicator, and his presence and his shadow loomed very large. So, and I was very shy and barely able to speak. So I wouldn't have made it that way. But I appreciate what I started as pursuing as an engineer, and it is rewarding, and namely because there are challenges as well, not just the rewards, but there are challenges, and the biggest challenge is concentrating and not getting distracted. And it would be quite simplistic to narrow it down to that, but there are things called biases, like cognitive biases or like other kinds of biases, and I would like to point out 3 of them today for your information. One of them is called the attentional bias. So remember the time when I was trying to study, but my mind would wander towards the soccer. That's a perfect example of attentional bias. The another bias is called confirmation bias, which is like, hey, you're from India, so isn't it really hot? So that is confirmation bias, but that's a really good icebreaker. And the last one, which is the closest cousin to confirmation bias, is the anchoring bias, which is as in software engineering, like when I go and develop a program, and then a tester will say, hey, your drop down is missing a value or something, and then I'll say, then I'll go and fix it. But then once he comes back again and say, hey, your drop down has incorrect values, then I wouldn't pay attention, and I would actually what I would do is I wouldn't even verify. That is called anchoring bias, because in the face of new information, sometimes we do not pay attention to what is right now in front of us. So anyway, so it behooves upon me to galvanize my paying attention skills, and that and improve my decision making ability, because that is how my father probably had, like, making really good small decisions that propelled him to be a good teacher. And since good decisions are foundations for learning as well and contributing back to society, it is easier if you know something completely through and through, like an expert. But the people who are in that stage, some neuroscientists call, they have an elevated mental state called the flow, and they are able to concentrate without being bothered, and also not being bothered by likes or dislikes of others. And it's clear these individuals make good decisions and able to concentrate wholeheartedly without getting distracted. But I would like to point out, even with this optimum efficiency, we need empathy and inclination to think for others, and also need to take in consideration of ethics when our making decisions. Because I'll give an example, like how my family was able to provide education to all the family members irrespective of the gender, coming from a prejudiced society back then. It's not only important to grow as an individual, but also shine bright together. And even though I am much maligned by my distractions, at points it gives me some relaxation as well, and which is also needed sometimes. So going back to the gift my father had, which is, and so many other talented communicators have, I feel a need to galvanize my skills and move forward towards that goal. And that is making good choices, good decisions, keep an open mind, and communicate clearly when I'm where I'm needed most. Thank you. Back to you.